Guess what we're doing today? Are you excited as I am? I love suspension stuff. So what should be a really simple project of some new rear lower control arms on my Mach 1 Mustang, through no fault other than my own, it turned into a much harder project. I goofed up. I got distracted. I was rushing. It happens. So I made some boo-boos and it cost me like almost a day's worth of work. We'll see what they are. Before we get started, if you like joining me for all my wins and my fails, please like and subscribe. And if you missed the previous videos or any of my videos, I'll link a playlist right here. Let's go! As always, it's BMR for the win, and I ordered them from LMR. BMR from LMR, late model restoration. I'm a big fan of this brand. It's economical, it's budget friendly, the quality is always good. I just really like them. They always come in black or red, and you know, it's cool. I enjoy it. They feel really sturdy, very well wrapped, so I'm excited to get these on. This is like the last major component, I guess, kind of, for my Mustang. I do want to do a K member, but it's a little bit more involved, so you know, I got plans, I got dreams. The other thing I got in this box that I forgot that I ordered were new bushings for my my sway bar, my front sway bar. So I got that. One thing you'll need is some grease, and of course, you know, your impact. You're going to need all your sockets and your ratchets and all that stuff. And I'll go through a full list of exactly what you need. Extensions and wobbles and doodads and hoo-haws and all that stuff. I love this little carry case that I got from Harbor Freight because I can load up and then take it to my car. Like a picnic. You'll need a breaker bar, a wobble, couple extensions, an 18mm socket, a 18mm wrench, an impact gun, preferably. When I was preparing to do the job, I looked under the car and I found something that I've been driving around with for a little bit. Check this out. It's a frickin' my other lost 18. I forgot about it. There it is. I've been driving around with that. Crazy. Wow. I've removed these struts so many times. So to get started, unbolt the strut and lower the rear of the car. You gotta lower it enough to pull those bottom springs out. I mean, you need to pull the springs out. There's no way around it. Not seen here for some unbeknownst reason to me, I guess my camera wasn't on or the battery died, is the removal of the sway bar, which is essential in this job. There's a total of 4 13mm bolts, 2 on each side. You pop those out, 2 of them hold a brake line bracket, and then the sway bar goes plunk. It's quite heavy, and so you drag that sway bar out from under the car and you set it aside. The awkward position, like these bolts are pretty hidden, that's one thing, but also just like holding that heavy impact, it got my arms really tired. And looking up, it hurt my neck, and it was cold, I didn't have the right extension, you know, all of the things that made this job a little bit difficult. So I think we've all had some pretty embarrassing car stories we would like to wipe from our memory, but every once in a while we'll be doing something and we remember them, and it just reminds us of how dumb we've been. So one of my most embarrassing car stories, and luckily nobody found out about it. I was I forget how old I was, but it was sometime in like the early 2000s, and I was dating this guy, and his name was Paul. I don't know what happened to Paul. If Paul's watching this, man, you provided endless amounts of entertainment. Thank you. Back to the stories. But anyways, so one night I was at Paul's house, and I needed to come back home to Glendale, and Paul lived in West Covina, and my car wasn't working. It was my Civic, my 84 Civic. So he let me borrow his Jetta. So he had this beat ass Jetta. It was like, oxidized red. I think it was like a 1986, something like that. And it was heinous. I don't even think that it went into reverse at one point in time. But anyways, it was a manual transmission, and he let me borrow it and drive myself home. So I drove myself all the way to Glendale. I get home, and it's, I don't know, it's probably late 2 in the morning. I wasn't drinking or anything. I didn't really drink much back in my youth. And so I took the Jetta, and I lived on a hill, and it was a U. So I lived here, and then you could go around the hill and you'd be facing the other side of the hill, right? So I faced on the other side of the hill because the car was so ghastly. I just, I knew my mom was gonna be like, oh my God, don't park this thing in front of my house. So I parked it on the opposite side, facing up. Parked the car, went in the house, got ready for bed, and then I had realized I had forgotten something in the car. It was like my phone or something. So, it was like maybe 30 minutes later, I go back outside, and I walk up the hill, start looking down, and there's no red Jetta to be seen. It's gone. It is gone. And I am like, oh my gosh, like someone stole this junky old Jetta? Like, who would do that? Who would steal this old car? Like, I just parked it 30 minutes ago. People don't even steal cars in my neighborhood. It was Glendale in like the early 2000s. Like, there are definitely people stealing cars in Glendale weren't looking for like a 1984 Jetta. So I keep looking, and you're not going to believe where I found it. I found the Jetta that I had parked on the hill, no longer where I parked it. It had rolled back down the hill, and it was sitting in a bush. The Jetta, I don't know if I didn't put in gear or I didn't put the e-brake on. I think that I didn't put the e-brake on. I didn't put it in gear, but I put the e-brake on. So it had slid all the way down, backed into a bush beautifully, didn't hit a car, didn't hit anything, just parked itself in the bush. I looked around, I ran down to it. The car was kind of loud. I started it up and I drove away, and I parked it in a whole nother neighborhood just in case somebody like saw what happened, so they could be like, oh, it's that girl in that red Jetta. The bush had sustained damage, I'm not gonna lie. You know, I was pretty poor and not in a position to tell my mom what I had done, and I didn't say anything to anybody. I figured the bush would kind of heal itself, and I hope it did. The car sustained a little bit of damage, but definitely nothing noticeable since it was already quite battle damaged. But I still, to this day, think about that car and that bush and how stupid I was for not putting it in gear. And I swear I'll be driving, just having a good day, and I'll think about that and my face will turn red and I'll be embarrassed about it all over again. Anybody else got any embarrassing stories? I've got a lot to share. I can't wait to hear yours. Okay, car brake over, back to these bolts. Let's get them out and onward and upward with this project. Alright, so I know that this is not the right socket to use for an impact gun, but it's the only 18mm that I have because some hidden troll in my garage seems to have stolen my impact ones. I've got an entire cabinet, tons of these, and only one 18mm, and it's not for an impact. So I risk my life and my limbs.
I was a fool to let you down, and now you run.
And this is the point where my brain says, peace out, done, bye, see ya. Yep, maybe you noticed, maybe you didn't, but I installed it backwards. Yeah, it's backwards. It's backwards, like the bracket went the other way. I mean, I have my reasons on why I did it, but I won't blame them. I spaced. Realizing the errors of my ways, I quickly remedy it by undoing it and turning it around, sulking and using profanity towards myself and anyone who walks by. There it is, another brush with danger on that wrong socket. And like, you know, what am I gonna do with this? So let's size it up, yeah? So how do I measure? I just line up the bolts with the old one and I tighten the lock nut and that's it. Done deal.
Oh, these are my brakes. I'm thinking of, instead of just replacing the brakes, I'm thinking of doing one of those Cobra brake conversions, but I have to remove the axles to do so, so it's kind of annoying, but it's okay. What do you think? Should I do it? Should I do it? This is so bad, huh? Can you believe I've never done the brakes on this car? Yeah, I can believe it. Alright.
So unfortunately, my mistake did cost me the better part of my day. I made a couple of other boo-boos. Unfortunately, with some ongoing distractions and interruptions that I had in my garage that day and the boo-boo that I made, I did lose a lot of my time, so I wasn't able to complete the job, and I will the next day. So for now, I just have to basically reinstall the sway bar and torque everything down, or so I thought. I didn't know it yet, but I had made another fatal mistake with this job. Sometimes jobs are just doomed, and it's okay. It is what it is. It's a fun car to work on. I did get a bunch of new car parts, so once I'm done with the suspension stuff, I'm going to move on to like the engine bay and do some fun stuff there. So that'll be a nice break. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoy my shenanigans, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week. So I have a big stack of tires in my garage right now from a car that's going to come back to me. I talk a little bit about it, but it's my 1980 C3 Corvette. I bought this car at the Pomona Valley swap meet about 16, 17 years ago. I didn't have the money or anything to fix it up at the time, so I just kind of drove it around with its crappy little, 305 engine, barely surviving. The car had like maybe 180,000 miles on it, and then eventually, as I grew older, I was able to start turning it into what I had dreamed of. So I started the process, I think it was like 2023, maybe 2022, I'm not sure, I'll have to look at my receipt. But basically I sent it to Devin over at Blockworks, and he's completely redone the car. So everything from the motor to the transmission, like it's very exciting. So I can't wait to get it back. But for now, I'll show you a little peek of what it looks like.
Calibrate your speed, of course. I'm definitely going faster than 19 miles an hour, but yeah, there you go. I'm gonna go drop it off them right now and get it all lined.
When I get it back, we'll take a full tour. This car, I'm gonna make it my daily. I really am. I'm gonna daily this thing. All the money that I've put into this car, if anybody asks me what my thoughts are on them restoring a vehicle, it's not even the motor, it's not the transmission, it's really like that stuff they're almost like fixed costs. Even the labor, you can kind of estimate that. What you can't estimate are the plastic pieces. Like air vents and dashboards and little broken pieces and brackets and all kinds of stuff. That stuff added up. And then the suspension stuff. The brakes, like everything. You can't just, like when you're restoring a car, you can't just throw a new motor in it and then everything else is like disintegrating. I just didn't really think it through, I will say. If I could go back in time, I don't even know if I would do it again. But I don't have the car back yet, so who knows if I'd say that. All I know is that I could have had a really pretty sick car for the cost that this restoration is costing me. But it's okay. I keep telling myself it's okay. We'll go for a drive once it comes back.